Welcome back to the Atypical Hunter Podcast. I'm Chris Begbie, and with me as always is a man who some say that once whitetail season starts, he starts to grow his own antlers, the incredibly horny Kyle Mork. On this episode, Kyle gives me a call while I'm in St. Louis for a work trip, and we get to talking about our new public hunting areas for this season, and the question of how to handle confrontation or conflict in the woods has crossed our minds. So while we're hoping that everyone that we meet out there is going to be as friendly as we've experienced over social media and over the phone through the podcast, you never know. Hopefully a warm smile and a hello will be enough to handle any of the crazies out there. We wanted to talk about what to do and how we plan on handling those situations. And as a side note, I was a little sauced up recording this one, so it should be fun. Happy hunting.
So you bartended with this guy, and then you fired him.
So yeah, he was one of the cooks at the
bar. The bar fired him.
Yeah, the bar. Or, my uncle and my aunt fired him because they're the owners. And so I walked in from the beer garden, and there he was sitting there yelling at him about his last paycheck not being in the mail and everything. And the guy was, he's just, he's on drugs and everything else. He's got issues. But not to throw my uncle under the bus, but he plays Mr. Tough Guy, so he antagonizes the situation. But I stood behind him for a little bit and let him say his piece, and then finally I wedged my way in front of him, didn't touch him or anything, but just nicely and politely asked him to get out. As I slowly escorted him to the door, he's sitting there, he's yelling, making a big scene, and I'm like, just get out, just go outside, your check's in the mail, trust me, you're gonna be fine, just get out of here. Trying to get that, really when you break it down, just getting the threat away from anybody that could hurt
everyone else.
Yeah, and it's like the guy's smaller than me. What's that?
Just getting the problem out of there.
Yeah, just get it away. Just get the problem away. Because you don't. Who cares what he's going to do 2 weeks from then? Just right now, he's a problem. Get rid of him. So I finally got him out, and he's going down the street. Then someone comes outside, antagonizes him again. He comes back, and these two people are in their face. I had to get in front of him again and separate the two of them, and neither of them were really probably going to throw a punch.
Was the other guy a guy that worked with you?
Yeah, we'll say that just to protect confidentiality here. But it was it was my uncle. So he came out and antagonized the situation again. So, I kind of split them up, but then that kind of got me thinking, especially when I texted you and told you about it, it's one thing to happen in a bar where there's a bunch of people around, and honestly, every bar fight or bar argument or whatever you want to call it that I've ever been in, everyone's holding everyone else back, and no one really wants to throw a punch. But, with going into public land, that's going to be a whole nother, that's going to be a game changer if we run into someone who's, not everyone's a saint, so people might be out there drinking, right. People just can be assholes. So it's I think the best thing when it comes to that, and like you and I started talking about, is just have kind of a plan if that happens.
Our friends over at the HuntWise app are giving over $500,000 in total hunting prizes, including 60 different hunts and products from 35 different brands. If you're looking for a premier tool for navigating your respective hunting terrain, check out the HuntWise app today. For the giveaway information, check out our link in our Instagram bio at Atypical Hunter.
Because you don't really.
Well, yeah, I went dove hunting with a listener of the podcast recently, Lucas Oswald, and he was telling me how crowded the area that we want to hunt in can get.
Yeah.
And then, you and I were talking about, what are we going to do if, there's people in our spot or that aren't very cordial or something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it can go either really well or it can go not so well.
Yeah. It's in everywhere in between. I'm sure most people will probably get kind of annoyed, if you walk up on them in their spot. You can kind of parlay that a little bit by getting out there nice and early, not bumping anything up. And if you see someone else there, you can you can get out of there. If they were there it's first come, first serve. So, I mean, that's really like the ultimate rule is like first come, first serve. If they're there, then just go somewhere else. Have a backup plan. It's on you if you don't have a backup plan. Like, that's your failure to plan at that point.
Is that the etiquette? Is that the etiquette that if you're second there, that like, all right, so I'll backtrack. What is the appropriate distance to be away from somebody if you're in the woods with someone else?
So we're all shooting bow. So we're looking at 30 to 40 yard shots at the most. I mean, clear shots. If we're in a field, it might be a little bit further, but nothing past 50, 60 yards, I'd say, 100, maybe 150 plus yards away. If you're not, I mean, if there's, if you and I are there and like I'm filming you hunt, or, if we're doing something where like one of us is filming, one of us is hunting, it's a different story. But you don't want to have two dudes like within like 20 yards of one another. I don't think that's, if we're both trying to hunt at the same time, I don't think that's necessarily, I don't know if that's really going to work too well. But for strangers, you got to be far away from them. Because I mean, they could mess up your hunt too. Everyone could be cool, but they could be like, noisy Ned. And they're sitting there snoring, or their snacks are really rattling around. But I think like 100, 150 yards away, and you'd have to eyeball it. And granted, you're not going to see everybody. You'd like to think that, if you saw someone, they'd give you like a little whistle or just kind of like a, hey, how you doing? But I don't know. I guess it could be kind of funny.
Just a heads up.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here.
We climb up into a tree and there's just a dude like right there, like, oh, hey, I guess I should get down now.
Oh, sorry, didn't see you there.
Yeah, didn't quite see you there. You were where it's sick too, huh?
Hopefully, by the time we get up in the tree, the guy would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
you would think, but maybe he's.
I mean, I've heard stories of people. Yeah, you never know what people are doing out there, right? It's very highly pressurized land, so
yeah.
What do you I mean? There's going to be you're going to see other people there.
Right.
It's just the fact of the matter.
Hey, you see other
it's just
hunters
a matter of
there?
how to handle that. Yeah. I think exactly. I mean, there's got to be other hunters there.
Yeah. And the biggest thing, I guess, what we're kind of like dancing around, but getting to the point is like we're going to run inevitably. The more time you're out there, not everyone's going to be nice. You're going to run into some guys that are like, "Well, this is my spot." So I guess you're going to have the guy that's going to come up and you say, we're all set. And some guy walks out. He's like, this is my spot. I've been hunting it for 20 years. It's decision time at that point.
Tough loogie.
Yeah. Like, do you want to sit there and argue? I mean, there's some voice of reason, but at some point in time, if the guy's like, hey, you need to get out of my, like if he's just unwavering, like no one's hunting that day. It's like, okay. That's a
tough
one.
At that point, it's got to be first come, first serve, right? I mean, if someone makes the effort to get out there before you, like you can't reserve a spot, right? So if someone's out there before you, then they got out there before you, and that's just the end of the matter. That would be my take on it. Like I mean, you and I have spots that we're planning on hunting, or that I'm planning on going to and showing you where they are and that sort of thing. But if someone's out there, I have other spots that are backup plans, and that's why I have other spots.
Right. I think I always, and this comes from, I think, just in the profession that I work in, that you're not always dealing with rational people.
Yeah.
So I guess I always, and I get.
So how do we deal with that then?
At first, reason. I think you just kind of like, hey man, listen, we were here first. We're gonna hunt this. Feel free to go to another spot. We don't care if you make a little bit of noise, but if you don't mind going somewhere else. But if they're just gonna sit there and be like, no, you gotta go. No, you gotta go. People got weapons out there. At some point in time, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it that day? I mean, you drove out there and everything. If this person's going to be an absolute dick and ruin your hunt anyway, just go to one of your other spots or go home. I mean, I really hope it never comes to that, but I don't ever want it to come down to someone discharging a weapon or getting in a fist fight. Because a fist fight out in the middle of nowhere between two dudes That again, it's not like it's not like a bar fight where people are going to pull you off and eventually someone's going to step in and say enough. Like it's almost like Thunderdome when it comes to situations like this. If it gets really aggressive,
if someone for whatever reason you get knocked unconscious or something, or you hit your head on something, or something bad happens, I mean, that person's not going to help you. They're going to walk away, right? So
yeah, if they
screwed.
Yeah, if they decided they were going to go toe to toe and knocked you out, I mean, they're unless there's some super got some crazy amount of chivalry, and they're like this, super honorable fighter of some kind, like they're just going to leave your ass there, and then you're really fucked. So, and then it just becomes a point where it's just not worth it. But yeah,
you think that happens? I mean, how often do you think that happens?
I don't know how often. I want to believe it happens very rarely, but I think I would be remiss in not thinking about it to have a plan. I think that's the ultimate moral of the whole thing is you have to plan what you're going to do in that situation, and you have to be prepared to say, "Fuck it, I'm going home." Otherwise, you're gonna react from the hip. And like right now, I'm sitting in my living room. You're in your hotel room. We both had a couple of drinks. We're relaxed, and we can say, okay, I won't get in a fight with anybody. I don't care. But when your adrenaline's pumping,
I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not saying that. I'm saying probably the opposite of that. Like if I'm in a tree and some guy's like, "Hey asshole, that's my tree," I would be like, "Screw you, man. I got here first. Like this is my tree now." I don't know. I would have a really hard time having to undo the effort that I put into getting into the area I want to be in because someone else is like, "That's my spot."
Yeah.
I would have a hard time doing that, I think.
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong. If he's like, "That's my spot, get out of it," I'd be like, "Hey, man, move along." And there'd be a little bit of dialogue beforehand. I ain't going to say like, "Okay, well, I'll get down and just get out of here," And I'd like to believe that eventually he's just going to go away. But if he's one of these persistent assholes, that's just gonna, I don't know. Actually, now, thinking about it now, I probably don't want to get down from the tree if he's sitting down there. It's probably the safest spot to be is up in the tree.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest worry you would have is if he's going to, point his arrow at you. Yeah. Right? But you wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
But that would be an extreme escalation of violence at that point.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to get in a fist fight with somebody. It's another thing shooting an arrow at someone is like assault with a deadly weapon type of violence.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
I mean, you're killing a deer with that arrow. You could definitely kill a human with that arrow.
Oh, without a doubt. And I don't feel like taking a broadhead to the stomach.
Yeah. Oh man, I would feel really bad for a deer if I did that, but having that on my own self, that would be miserable.
Yeah. So I guess I'm starting to think of different things as we're talking about different scenarios. And luckily enough, through a different incident that I was involved in, I have a DNR agent's cell phone saved on my phone. So that would probably be huge to have. Like if you're in a situation where you're up in a tree, the guy won't go away, call the DNR. Because I know
that's probably this bet.
They're happy to come out and help you out.
Right. And that's probably not the first time they've done something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure things like that happen all the time. Mm-hmm. Especially where we are. I mean, there's just not that much land to hunt on, so the accessibility is limited, and there's a ton of people that want to hunt the land that we're going to be on, and conflict just has to arise at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So that could change things.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you do get in a situation where for whatever reason it does come to blows, I mean, what should you do? Say you are the guy that wins, right? Then what?
Call the DNR.
Yeah. Just say, "Hey, this is what happened."
Yeah. Because especially if you, quote unquote, win, so say you knock him down, you knock him out, he's down, you busted him up or whatever. Trust me, there's going to be some litigation that's going to be involved, and you're going to want to be as cooperative as possible. Because, again, especially with the DNR, like, they want you to be cooperative because they want to figure out the situation and get it taken care of. And if it's someone who gets aggressive towards you, it's your word versus them. But you don't want to be on your own. You kind of want to be the one to say, hey, listen, this is what happened. I'm reporting it. What do I do next? Take some guidance from some people, like you said, who have been through it.
Yeah, that's probably the best course of action. And then at least you're covering your bases, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can say, I acted because I was advised to do this or that or something else. I mean, you have to defend yourself, obviously, if something happens, but,
right.
It can get shady real fast.
It can. The other part is you got to kind of drop the ego, too. But we can get into that one a little later. But you were going to say?
I was going to say you're in the areas we're going, you're not allowed to bring a firearm either. So you can't, de-escalate with that if that's what you were planning on doing. Like in most cases, if you have your concealed carry license, you can use your firearm to, settle things down, hopefully, as opposed to escalating them. I mean, you don't want to have to do that, but if it's going to come to blows with somebody or you feel that you're, scared for your life in whatever manner that may come up, if someone's like pointing an arrow at you or something, you can always do that, but you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to have a firearm in the areas that we're going into. Yeah. So that can change things as well.
Yeah. The thing, I guess what I'm realizing is there's a lot of moving parts to a conflict out there. Because even you said, you're not allowed to have a firearm out there. You're also not allowed to really be aggressive towards another hunter out there either. And there's, it seems like it can easily cascade out of hand quickly if you don't prepare yourself to know how you want to handle it and how to de-escalate the situation in the best way possible. So, and the other part is like if you like you said, if you win, like you and I got a lot to lose. Even if we do win, we have.
You're not winning anything from from that situation at all.
No. I mean, it's not like it used to be where you came home and like I kicked that guy's ass. Well, what'd you do with him? Well, I left him there. It's like, oh shit, right. Like that's might be second degree. I'm not sure, but.
Well, yeah, and especially where we are, like you have to sign in and sign out, so they're gonna know. I mean, there's going to be like, oh, there was 8 people in here. Let's just contact these 8 people and figure out who this was.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
it's not like you can be anonymous.
Yeah. And I kind of like that about where we're going too, because when there's a problem person, I'm pretty sure that office has a pretty good beat on who's a problem person and who's not. So, if someone is ever kind of a dick to somebody else and it gets reported one way or another, they're probably not going to allow them back out there again. So,
well, I would hope so. I mean, it's probably hard to enforce that.
Yeah.
I doubt they're sitting out there all the time. And, if they are, then there's probably a major problem.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping people just are pretty cordial and are saying, hey, this person is near where I was going to go. I'll go someplace else. I mean, when we went last week to go dove hunting, we went to one field and there was a guy in that field already, which can handle very many people in that field. But we're like, you know what? This guy's here. There's not that many people out here right now. Let's just go someplace else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping most people handle the situation that way and say, hey, this guy is in the spot I was planning on going. Why don't we try someplace else? And then, try to get there earlier the next time to make sure that you get the spot that you want or something like that. But, it's, most of the people I've met that have been hunters or in the areas that we're going to be hunting in, even if they're just like backpackers or hikers or bikers or something, I mean, they've all been super friendly. So hopefully that means that'll continue.
Yeah. I would love nothing more than to have that trend continue, but
yeah.
And I mean, what you said there, those aren't the only people you're going to run into, too. Like, I mean, where we're going, I didn't look around at the surrounding area, but there's private land at least on one border of it, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, landowners.
I don't know if it's a landowner specifically, like a private landowner. I feel like it's like a corporation landowner.
Okay.
Or something. I mean, I would be surprised if there was hunters that was hunting on the private land. I feel like it's just land that you're not supposed to go on because of other reasons.
Yeah.
Like they're growing bison there, or they're raising bison there, so they don't want you to go on the land that those animals are on for environmental reasons and things like that. But I mean, it's definitely possible that there's other private landowners out there that, I mean, and that's a whole nother situation. Like, I'm going to be hunting in Michigan probably this fall. Mm-hmm. I got invited to go up with some people near where my wife grew up to hunt with them in Michigan, and they have a private hunting cabin that backs up to other private hunting lands. And I'm sure nobody wants anyone else hunting on each other's private land, and that's why you buy that, right? So you can hunt on the land that you own.
Exactly.
And then how do you handle that? I mean, you just have to be neighborly to everybody.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're going to come into conflict.
Yeah. And I think I heard one of the guys from Hush had a situation like that where he was on public land, and then it was backed up to private land, and the private landowner happened to be right along the edge there. And there was kind of a sort of a pseudo argument ensued, where it's like, hey, you're on my land. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm on public land. And I think that's where like OnX and HuntWise and all those apps where they show you exactly where you're at. I mean, slowly reach for your phone. Don't reach real quick, but just say, hey, listen, let me show you the map here. I'm going to show you my location. Let's take a look at it together and see what's going on. If it is, I'll move. If not, then this is fair game here. I don't think that you'll be able to track down a deer if they run onto that land, but that's a whole other story.
No, I mean, at that point you have to ask for permission, and then if they say no, you're just screwed.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it goes, right?
Which is kind of bullshit. Well, it's major bullshit. I get that you can't force somebody to you can't force people to allow other people on their own private land, but if there's a deer on their land, you can see it, and they won't let you on, they should get a ticket for that. I think that should be a violation of some kind. But
I don't know. I kind of disagree. If it's your own land, like who else has any right to say what you can and cannot do to that, right?
Right. But
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like if you shot it and like you can see if like your arrow's sticking out of it or something, then I get what you're saying, but it would be hard to enforce that. And then you're going into like a whole other political argument of like land ownership rights and
eminent domain and all that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, from our perspective, if we shoot a deer and, mortally wound it and it goes on a private land, we have to figure out how to call the owner of that and ask, pretty please, can I go on here and get that?
Yeah.
So I can get the deer that I killed and, make sure not just some wasted animal on your property,
Yeah.
But, they have the right to say no, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd have to be a really big asshole to do that, though.
I know. I think we started this off really cynical. I think after everything last night, between that and some other crap that happened, I've been super cynical about the whole thing. But I think. I mean,
I'm thinking people are nice. To be honest, I think everyone that I've dealt with in my short time in the what we'll call the hunting industry or hunting community, I mean, everyone has been super friendly. I can't imagine people aren't going to continue to be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I would worry about is landowners that, for whatever reason, aren't into hunting, and they're like, I don't want you doing that on my property. That would be the bigger worry, but I don't think we're hunting in those areas most of the time.
No, I think you're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely.
Although it would be nice if we could hunt in the forest reserves by our house, because there's some big birds out there.
There are some brutes out there right now, and they're just walking around. You could walk up and pet them.
I was 10 feet away from the one that looked at me like what are you doing in my yard? It's basically
Did you bring me any food?
Yeah, it's like, you have carrots on you? What are you doing out here?
Yeah. Unless you got some food, back off, dude.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be, I don't think we're going to have any concerns about, people being unruly or ornery or anything. The worst thing we're going to come across is that people got into our spot before we got there, and we're going to have to go someplace else, which, if that's the case, then they tried harder than us, or, the early bird gets the worm, right?
Yeah, that's just how it goes.
Right.
It comes down.
That would really suck, but
It would. But you've done enough scouting for the both of us. I think we'll figure it out, right?
I hope so. I've got like 3 or 4 places that I think are pretty good. So, hopefully a couple of those are available.
Yeah.
Although Luke, my dove hunting partner, knew exactly what I was talking about when I told him the spot I was thinking of last week. So that was a little worrisome.
Oh,
He's
man.
like, oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, that's a good spot. I like that area. I was like, shit.
That means at least one other guy's like it. Oh, great.
Yeah, exactly. So that means probably a lot of people like it. So that means I'm just going to have to show up super early. We're going to have to show up super early to different areas.
Yeah.
To get out there before anybody else can.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I'm almost thinking we got to get out there like the night before down the road and pull off to the side and sleep in the truck for a little while or something just to sneak on there.
Just to make sure we're there.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd make it
It's
pretty
not
easy.
a bad idea.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that would be breaking any violations or anything, right?
I don't think. I mean, I guess depends on where you park. Wilmington, there's enough truck stops and things like that along the way there that you can, or rest stops that you pull over, and we can figure it out for sure.
That's actually a good. I had not thought about that, but that's a great idea.
Yeah,
we could. You wake up at like 3 a.m. anyway.
Yep.
So, you would be there super early as it is, but yeah, we could sleep there overnight and then just be there ahead of time, and just jump out there as soon as we see an opportunity to, or as soon as we wake up.
Yeah, exactly. So just sleep in our gear and head on out there. I mean, late season that might be kind of tricky, but
it gets freaking cold.
Yeah. And
we
can't
be
run.
Wearing all our bibs and camo and everything.
Sitting in there like icicles, and we just never thaw out completely.
Right, just freezing the entire time.
Exactly. So.
There's gotta be. We should be able to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't foresee that being too much of an issue.
Yeah.
But hopefully.
On another note, I set up my tree stand in a way now that I am super excited about. It's very much more quiet than it was before.
Yeah.
So took some advice from Bo Martonic when we were talking with him about the hockey tape. So I ordered some camo hockey tape and taped up some of the jangly areas on my tree stand. Like my shoulder straps that I bought and hooked up to the tree stand were rattling like crazy.
Yeah.
And I hockey taped those, and it's dead silent now, which is amazing.
Nice. Have you shot out of it yet?
I have not, and I probably won't, to be honest with you. I think the first time I shoot out of it will probably be wherever we're going.
Yeah.
I guess I could always just like do it on the telephone pole in my backyard and just get used to shooting out of it somehow for like 15 yards or something.
Yeah.
You think I should do that?
It couldn't hurt. I mean, your shot's probably going to be about 15, 20 yards anyway. So.
Yeah. Maybe I will then.
I mean, then at least you know your range too, because your draw length is so long that
right.
You kind of want to know. It would suck to put all that effort into getting up the tree, only to find out your elbow is going to whack the back of the tree from any position, and you got to you get down and reposition on a different tree. So
yeah, that's true.
It's just that practice part. Again, it just comes down to having a plan. We can't plan too much as far as scouting with like cameras and everything, because we can't hang any cameras there. So it's like we ourselves got to figure out and make sure that we're prepared to be able to make that shot and prepared to be able to handle any like we're talking about those conflicts and everything. be able to
Yeah.
handle any of those so that it doesn't completely fuck our hunt.
Yeah, I guess we should control everything we can, and then the things we can't control, then that's tough luck. But
Yeah, let those play out.
yeah, all right. Then I'll get up there. I'll practice up there for a while. Then
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Have you shot out of your tethered tree saddle yet?
Nope. That's what I was saying. Maybe you should practice. Come over and practice with mine too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So yeah, I have to get one more.
Broadhead shooting.
What's that?
I said do the broadhead shooting.
Yeah, do the broadhead shooting. Which ones? So you've been kind of back and forth a little bit on which broadhead you're going to do. Do you know which one you're going to go with?
I'm going to bring both.
Oh, yeah?
Decided. So yeah, I ordered new arrows, and I got the Deep Six inserts coming from Easton, and that'll allow me to shoot the Cuda Point broadheads. I'm going to bring 4 arrows. I've decided I'm going to bring 2 Cuda Points, and I'm going to bring 2 QAD Exodus arrowheads. And I don't know. I mean, the Exodus, they have been shooting very consistently. I feel very confident with those. I haven't shot the Kudu Points yet, but the way that you've talked about them and the confidence you have in them makes me feel like I want to shoot those as well.
Yeah.
So I think once the inserts come in, I'm going to practice with those for the next 2 weeks probably. Before, I mean, we don't even have 2 weeks anymore. We've got like 12 days.
Yeah, 12 days.
Until opening day starts. So, over the next 12 days, I'll probably be practicing with those and see what I like better. And then it'll probably be a game time decision. I mean, I like the idea of the Kudu Points because it's a stronger grade metal, and I feel like I wouldn't damage, and it would probably penetrate better. Difference and the hesitation I have is the Exodus has a nice 3-blade, broadhead surface, and I feel like that would make it maybe bleed a little bit more. So I kind of go back and forth. Like I think the Kudu Point would penetrate and do more damage on the initial entry and exit, but I think the Exodus would allow for more bleeding and maybe an easier find.
Yeah.
Once a shot has been made,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, what's your take on that? I know you like the Kudu Point for the hog that you killed.
Yeah, I mean, I usually I don't like to give myself too many options. I just like to have my one go-to. But if I were sitting in your situation and wanting to take the Exodus and the Kudu Points out, if it was a close shot, I would, and I really wanted to use that bleeder factor to it, that extra blade. Or wanted to get a little bit of extra blood and more impactful kill it. If I'm thinking that the Exodus is going to do that a little bit more with the third blade. If it's a close shot, I'll probably go with that. If it's a further shot, so maybe 30 yards plus, I would go with the Kudu Point. Reason being is those Exodus that you have, they don't have like the I guess like vents in them. But the way that they screw in, there is some space between the blade and the shaft of your arrow, right? If I'm remembering them correctly. So that's a whistle. That's a noise that they're going to hear. And so if I'm going back to what Tyler was saying, like the reason why Kudu Point does not have that, is because it reduces the noise that it makes, as the arrow's kind of coming at you. So, longer distance, you don't want to have that noise. You don't want to give the deer an opportunity to jump the string or anything. Closer distance, you're going to be shooting so fast that's not going to matter anyway. So
yeah, they won't have time.
Yeah, I think much less time if they're real seasoned. Much less time then. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, that's kind of my take on if I had 2 that I really wanted to use, why I would use one. I'd use one at a shorter distance, one at a longer distance. But,
yeah, that's probably a good idea. I mean, it would give the deer less time to react to a noise or something along those lines. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it would kind of reduce that noise, but
right. I also have to see how the kudu points fly with my bow. I haven't shot those yet either, so it could be a completely different shooting experience. I have no idea.
Exactly. Yeah, because yours is coming off at a different speed and everything else. So.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll see. So. There's a couple things that we got to work on. I know season is coming super quickly, which I'm really excited about. I mean, it's less than 2 weeks away. And I told my boss yesterday I'm taking off opening day. I'm going to be out there for the whole day, I think.
Yeah, good. I'm attempting to get my shifts switched around, so we're seeing how that's going to go. But
yeah, it'd be awesome if we could both be out there for the whole day, or at least for part of the day together.
Yeah, exactly. I know that weekend I should definitely be able to get out there, but so will every other hunter in Illinois.
That's why I'm hoping opening day will be all right. I mean, I'm sure there'll be people that take off the day to get out there, but I mean, it's a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So I mean, hopefully people have to work.
Yeah.
And it'll be a little less crowded than, a weekend opening day would be. And we won't have too many people to compete with.
Yeah.
But we have a couple spots ready to go, which is good. And our tree stands / saddles are all ready. Mm-hmm. I think we'll be A-okay. And, I got a good spot for your blind that we can give a try to. So
yeah. Oh, now we got to practice shooting out of that too.
Yeah, we should do that this weekend.
Yeah,
just to make sure that we're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
We got a lot of things to do in the next couple of days.
We do, and you would think living across the street that we could knock these things out, but
yeah, both busy guys.
Yeah.
And we're recording this. I'm in St. Louis in a hotel room right now, and dressed in my suit from work from the day, but got to find time for these things.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be good opening season for me. And I mean, you really haven't hunted in Illinois before, so
yeah, it's been some time. So I'm honestly
you had your tree stand up there before with your nefarious deer, but
yeah,
this will be a new experience.
Yeah, that'll be a story for another podcast for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
We might lose some listeners after that one, but whatever.
You never know. You never know. But I think it'll be good. And if you do run into conflict in the woods, the best way to be is just be a nice guy. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, really, it's really like the best plan is just be chill, just relax.
Exactly. And hopefully that we won't have any cases where things escalate further. But I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that it'll be A-okay.
Yeah. Me too. I'm really hoping we meet people that are like, oh, yeah, I just hunt this land here every once in a while, but I got some private land. Feel free to come out and hunt that with us if you want. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, your pipe dream.
Yeah, I think I went from one end of the spectrum to the other in 40 short minutes here.
Yeah, I there's some guys at the conference that I'm at here that live in Iowa, in Davenport, and they're like, yeah, anytime you want to come out, we got deer on my land all the time, whenever you want. It's like, all right, I'll be calling you.
It's like saving the number.
Yeah, exactly. So, most people are pretty nice. It's just a matter of establishing rapport and making sure that you're not a dick to them and they won't be a dick to you.
Yep.
So that's probably a good place to kind of close off. Don't be a dick.
Yeah. That's closing words, closing thoughts. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, exactly. But, as always, remember to like and subscribe and comment on whatever mediums you are listening to our podcast. It really helps us, and we really appreciate any feedback, good or bad. We're always working to get better. So, let us know how we're doing and how we can improve. And, in the meantime, make sure you're out there practicing, and happy hunting.
Night, everybody.
Thanks. All right.
Okay.
Cool. That was entertaining.
Yeah.
Good.
I like that one. I like that. So
hopefully, I really am hoping that we don't run into any dicks.
Yeah, me too. I definitely don't want to, but having a plan. Are you taking a piss?
No, I filled my glass up with water. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's gonna be fine.
I think so too. It's really coming so fast. Like, I'm kind of nervous about it now.
Oh, why?
I'm not like nervous. Like, it's more like a excited, anxious feeling. Like, I want it to be here.
Yeah, like Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just like want it to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been talking about it for so long now, and like I've been thinking about it for so long, and now it's finally here. It's like, oh shit, let's get this done.
Yeah, it feels cool to be this prepared, and I think just by doing all this stuff, like it's forced me to kind of be a lot more prepared with like, all right, I gotta just have my gear all dialed in, all set up, all packed up, because there might be days where I'm just like, I'm fucking calling off work and going hunting with Chris.
Yep, I'm definitely doing that.
Yeah,
like I told my bosses, like, there's going to be days I'm just not doing anything, so you got to be prepared for that.
Yeah, you can know now, or you can know the day off.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
But it'll be good. It sounded okay?
Yeah, no different than some of the other ones. Not as clear as when we're both in the same room, but it's been better than some of the other calls that we've had, for sure.
You think Skype's the way to go then?
I think so. I should have probably moved this closer to the router, or get a signal strengthener, so we can try the Skype at your place too.
Okay.
And see, maybe your internet might be a little bit better. So
yeah. All right. Well,
yeah.
I mean, it sounds good on my end, and I got my headphones in, so it should sound relatively clear.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it gets rid of a lot of the background noise. So even if the call quality isn't the greatest, the background noise is all going to be gone.
Yeah.
So, except for you taking a piss in a cup or whatever it was.
Well, I made sure I didn't do that until after the recording was done.
Yeah, I was laughing my balls off earlier when you texted about your stomach or whatever. I looked at it, I go, I know that is not for me, but I'm responding anyway.
Well, I got a text. My boss. I left the meeting, and my boss is like, he walked out afterwards, and I was like, I don't feel good. I need to go into my room. And I was like, I'm like, my stomach doesn't feel good. And he's like, he texted me, "Are you okay?" And that's what I responded to. But I responded to that on your text message. And then he's like, I'm like, why did he call me a pussy? I was like, that's weird.
Well, from what I hear about your boss, it doesn't seem like that's that out of the ordinary for him to call you a pussy for that.
No, it's not. It's not. But I feel like he felt concerned before, and then it was like a real switcheroo there. I was like, well, that was weird. And I looked down, I was like, God damn it, how's Kyle?
Well, it was funny because I'm sitting there, I'm laughing my ass off at work because I was at that point it was like kind of a lull in activity and I was bored.
Yeah.
So I just looked down and I'm gonna fuck with them. And Marion, one of our other pharmacists, she looked at me. She said, "What are you laughing at?" I showed her. I'm just like this. She's like, "You are such a dick."
Yeah,
sometimes.
Basically, that's why I like you.
Yeah, exactly. Makes me a likable person.
I don't know. I like whatever reason at that time. I was like, something I ate was just like that. I was like, I'm gonna shit my pants right now, and I don't want to do this in a public restroom where there's like 3 other employees of my company right next to me. I'm going upstairs.
Well, that's why you got to use the lily pad.
What's that?
Remember we were talking about that at dinner a while back when we all went downtown? The lily pad where you put the wad.
Yeah, that's true.
The wad of toilet paper.
The sound oppressor. The sound suppressor.
Yeah, it's the silencer. Oh.
Exactly.
Oh. All right, man. Well, I'll let you get down to, I don't know if you got to go back out there and help your boss out or whatever.
I have to go smooth, yeah.
Sounds good, man. All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow night then, all right?
See ya.
Later.